Alrighty. Hey, everybody.
We live?
We are live. Welcome back to another Glew University. We'll get started in just a couple of, well, probably not a couple minutes, maybe like a minute or so. Looks like we had quite a few people sign up, so just want to give some people some time to get logged in. But if you want to let us know where you're attending from, we are both in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you guys want to say in the chat where you're from, we'd love to know.
Don't be shy.
It's okay if you're shy. There we go. Anytime we call people shy, they immediately tell us where they're from.
See, it worked.
Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Jason. Glad to have you guys here today. Hey, Taylor. Out in LA. All right, cool. Well, sweet. Well, I'm hitting the minute mark, so that's usually the time we'll get started. But like I said, we're excited to have everybody here today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and hide my camera just so we have some nice bandwidth here. And we will get this party rolling. Awesome. Click here. All righty. So for the Glew University today, we are going to be talking about post-holiday retention. So you're probably wondering, what does that mean? Basically, we had Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're heading into Christmas time, the holiday time, and you are probably wondering, or what do I do with all these new customers I just acquired? I'm trying to get all these shipments out and doing all this kind of stuff. And you may want to relax going into the new year, but this is actually a really amazing time to build some long-term customers, not just ones that come back every Black Friday. So we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies to do that, and then ways that you can actually use Glew to do that as well. So I'll kick it over to Katie to walk through the overview.
Cool. So these are just kind of some of the points that we're going to run through today, some of the questions that we're going to answer using Glew. So why is it so critical to have data-driven strategies for retention after the holidays? It's really great to be able to pull in a ton of new customers, but we want to make sure we're taking full advantage of all of those new customers that are now shoppers of yours and clients of yours. So we're going to talk about some ways to really kind of engage with those customers after the holidays and throughout the customer journey. How to identify your new holiday customers. So really being able to pull those customers, segment them out, identify them as new holiday shoppers. That way we can give them maybe some sort of incentive to purchase again before their lapse point runs through or something like that. So we'll definitely talk about some ways and strategies to identify those new shoppers. We'll talk about using lapse point and customer statuses to develop some smart retention strategies. So keeping those customers around, especially those customers that are, were really important shoppers during our sale period. We're going to talk about some of the channels that were used to pull in the highest number of customers during the holiday season. And then we'll also talk about how to set yourself up for stronger long-term relationships. So really making an impact on those new customers that you've pulled in throughout your sale period. So lots of fun topics, really. So this is just kind of, I guess, like a little blurb to tell us if you don't focus on post-holiday retention, you're missing out. So some people think that, it's the main focus of Black Friday, Cyber Monday is just to pull in as many customers as we can, which that's definitely one of the main focuses. But we also want to make sure we're really using, specific strategies to keep those customers around, mold them into a really great customer for our business and have them, increase their AOV, their lifetime value, and that purchase frequency with our business as well.
Nice.
And then turning holiday acquisition into retention. So again, kind of mentioned this, but what are we doing with those customers after the holiday season ends? Sure, there might be some people that were purchasing holiday gifts at a lower price for family members, and maybe they aren't your perfect customer, but how are we going to act on those customers versus the customers that really are a good fit for our business? So just segmenting those customers out, making sure we're getting people to repurchase and really see the value in our product or our business or whatever you may be selling. And then driving the most value to identify the best prospects. So again, getting a little bit repetitive here, but just making sure we're really turning the conversion rates into profitability. So getting those one-time shoppers to purchase again and again to drive that LTV up during the holiday season and after the holiday season, rather.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to actually do that, right? I think the clear-cut message here is we want to take those would-be one-time buyers and how do we turn them into actual consistent repeat buying customers? And a lot of it's going to be pretty simple. And then it's going to be a lot of like content and how you actually approach these customers throughout their new life cycle that they just started. So the first thing we want to do is identify each Black Friday, Cyber Monday, who is a new customer that's coming to our business, right? There's different strategies for, just being general people who buy during this time of year. But for this, we're going to actually focus on new customers because we want to, have like a clean slate. A lot of our companies too are, been in operation. This may be your first Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So you may be really excited. You're like, holy crap, we had a ton of sales. We have so much capital. What do we do with it? And this is one thing you can. So first thing, let's identify. So how do we do that in Glew? So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your Glew account and you're going to go to customer list and you're going to click edit filters. This is going to allow you to take all of your customers and create a cohort on the basis of the criteria that we're identifying today, which is new customers who bought during the holiday season. So what you're going to do is you're going to go click edit filters. You're going to add two things here. You're going to do orders is greater than or equal to, and then first order date is after or on whatever you are deciding the beginning of your holiday season is. I have some customers who actually start, in October. They start offering progressively higher discounts until they actually get to Cyber Monday, and then it's a big one. I have other people who just do one big sale for 3 days, right? So there may be different ways of how you do it. So that date is flexible here. In this instance, they're doing it on Thanksgiving. Typically, you may want to do it a little bit before. So you can do after, on, or after, whatever logic you choose there. And you can name it. I just named mine, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, first-time buyers. Create new segment, and then create. So what this does is it's going to isolate that group of customers for you and allow you to do specific things with them. But the first thing you want to do is kind of like pull them out of that group of all of your customers. On top of this, you can go in and actually add some additional filters as well. So if you click add filter in your Glew account, if you want to follow around, you're going to see a large number of filters that you can pull from. So one is acquisition channel. So you scroll down to the very bottom, you're going to see first order or last click. For the purpose of this, I'm going to use last click because we are looking at new customers who we just acquired. So you could look at, segmenting out based on the value of that acquisition channel or how many new customers each acquisition channel brought in. And I'll quickly show you on the next slide how to figure out what the top and bottom acquisition channels are. But that's one additional filter. If you are using tags, you can also pull in products purchased. So if you are using like Shopify plus tags or BigCommerce or Magento, you can actually pull those into this filter as well. So you could tag like your flagship product as well. So you can see people who first ordered during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then bought our our most important product. I'm having a hard time saying flagship. Or you could do, if you had like a free product or something like that. Again, you guys get creative with it, but you can filter off of that. Then you can also do AOV. So that's another drop-down filter as well. If you want to, add a filter for AOV and have a specific campaign for these individuals based on ones who spent a lot, or a different type of promotion for ones that spent less. So we'll talk a little bit about the type of promotions you can send them, but the AOV is a way to actually kind of add tiers to the people that you acquired. Again, you'll create those segments in Glew, and you can always push those over to Klaviyo or MailChimp or ListTrack. Narrow down, identify the best prospects for retention. So this is really, a basis of like AOV and things like that. People who spend a lot will typically like to take advantage of discounts. So there may be ways to, again, attract them to come back, not at just a discount time, which we'll talk a little bit about. in Glew, if you're going to try to figure out what channel was the most successful during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you can go into your customer lifetime value, go scroll down to LTV profitability by channel. And then you can basically just sort here by whichever criteria you're trying to analyze. For this one, I just did new customers. So again, this is actually a dummy data account. So take that for what it is. But you may look at this and say, hey, wow, we did really well in email. So maybe we want to, again, pull out our first-time buyers who we acquire through email, who have high AOV, and then push that over to Klaviyo to have a very hyper-targeted list. So again, that's kind of how we're pulling people out of all of the, all of our customers and kind of creating specific cohorts. And then there's some actual ways that we can attack these customers via email, SMS messages, to actually drive that retention and build relationships. So one thing in Glew you're going to find is your lapse point. If you're wondering what lapse point is or where to find it, lapse point is basically the amount of days you have to upsell a customer before the chances of them buying again become almost zero. So if you go to store settings in your Glew account, that's going to be on the bottom left. You click that, you can scroll down a little bit, you'll see lapse point. If you click into it, you'll see a suggested lapse point and then current. Suggested is what Glew says your lapse point is, but you do have the ability to change it as you feel. So for example, let's say your lapse point is 100 days. That means that if I bought during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, based on all your historical data, you have about 100 days to get me to buy again before I typically won't buy from you based on how your customers interact with your store. So that's a great metric to have, but then you want to execute on that metric. So that's what this is going to be. So this is actually how you are able to analyze your lapse point. You can go back into that customer segments, and you can click one of these three segments. There's going to be an active, at risk, and lost. So you're probably wondering, okay, what is active? What is at risk? What is lost? Well, if we go back to lapse point, and we know that's 100 days, right, from our example, what that is telling me is that customers are going to be one of three categories within that lapse point. So an active customer is essentially days 0 to 80 since last purchase. So it's 80% away through the lapse point. So if your lapse point's 100, it's really easy math, 0 to 80. At risk is going to be 81 to 100, and then loss is going to be 100 and beyond. So what we want to do with these customers is have kind of three different approaches, right? The active, we want to nurture with light touch, right? This wants to be more of a, content sort of email. It's not going to be so aggressive in the sense that you're saying, hey, you just bought, buy again, right? You don't want to necessarily ask somebody to buy again before they've even gotten their shipping notification, right? So in active, you want to do more content driven, more brand driven, create a buying experience that, yeah, they're going to get a great product. But at the same time, this is going to allow them to feel, hey, this was a good decision to buy from this company. They send cool stuff outside of just their product. I'm looking forward to buying from them again. Let your creative minds go wild here. If you can create and cultivate a brand in this active stage, people are going to organically buy from you, right? In reality, though, a lot of people are going to move out of active and into at risk, which is the nature of e-commerce. So there are a lot of one-time buyers, right? We're always trying to crack that multi-purchase dilemma. So at risk is going to be that this is going to be a very heavy emphasis on converting, which is going to be a higher touch. So you effectively want to be more aggressive in your wording, put links to products, offer discounts here, insinuate shop now or buy this. This is where you're going to start pushing people more aggressively in SMS text messages and things like that to drive this that conversion. Loss is going to be also similar to at risk, where you're going to be doing something extra here to try to get them back into that active state. So what a lot of my customers would do actually build off of lost, add in some of those AOV criteria, as I mentioned before, create, filters off of that. But do heavier discounts and things like that here. Really, this is kind of like seeing what you can get out of the lost group to kind of get them back in there. But if you're doing, the right things in the active, which is that nurturing brand building, you're going to see a lot of natural organic upsells. So some technologies for customer retention and relationship building and how to track them. So you want to use these specific channels to drive retention. Email obviously is going to be a huge one. I'm working in e-commerce. I check my email all the time to see what kind of offers I'm getting. Typically, there's a lot of great discounts being thrown around. SMS is, not a new offering, but it's a lot more common. And I, even as a consumer, think it's very effective when it comes to discounting. If somebody gets an SMS text on their phone saying, hey, you get 40% off, the conversion rate is actually pretty strong. So if you're not using SMS, I highly recommend jumping on that. Also, loyalty and rewards, if you're using a specific program for that, people building up points for certain things, or, looking back at the end of the year and seeing who are your highest and lowest spending customers and giving them specific offers. If you're not using a technology right now and you're curious, is this something maybe we should start using? You can actually use Glew for this. In that edit filter section, you can use things like, set your date picker for the year, create a filter based on revenue, and create tiers, right? Or by orders, or orders and revenue, and create kind of like a platinum, gold, silver, bronze grouping. And maybe you then create that platinum list, push it over to Klaviyo if you're using that for email, and they get a special offer. Hey, you spent, $500 with this year. We're going to give you a special 50% discount because, again, this is a VIP customer to you. You want to show them that they're valuable. And typically, one, they're going to take advantage of that. And then they're also going to probably tell their friends how great it is to buy from your brand because you treat your customers really well, right? It's those little things from a consumer mentality that if you feel important, you typically want to buy. And then tracking performance for retention channels, focus on different KPIs and acquisition campaigns. So, you want to keep a look at, engagement, repeat purchases, and LTV. And all this can actually be looked at in Glew. What you'll do is, again, any of those segments, customer cohorts that you create, you can always click that little segment details on the top right and it'll show you, your LTV, your AOV, orders, customers, product purchase, all that good stuff. I'll pop that in here at the very end just to show you where. But yeah, so focus on these technologies. Again, these are great ways to use the technologies to boost those relationships. So yeah, cool. So how to set yourself up for stronger customer retention now. So these are some things that you can do with your store to just reduce the friction in conversion, right? So nailing the initial purchase and post-purchase experience now will prime your customers for retention. So again, clean, easy site navigation and checkout. I can't tell you how many times you get to a website that has it's so busy that it can be a little bit overwhelming. I think making things very simple, even if it's in your ads, right? If you have a advertisement in which that looking at your product data or your highest performing advertisement, let's say you're selling clothing, right? Your model may be wearing a specific outfit. And if you click that ad, it should take you to that outfit, right? A lot of times people will create an ad that's performing really, really well, but it's allowing their customers to go to the website and it puts them right on the front page or something like that, right? And then they have to re-navigate the website to find the product, the size. And it's just creating more time and friction to that purchase, right? It's allowing more time for that. Do I really need this to pop into their head? So easy conversions is the name of the game. Busyness is a killer when it comes to that. Clear communication and expectations around shipping and delivery. I cannot tell you how, if I look into shipping or something like that and it says, hey, it'll be there in 3 days and it takes a week, I promise you I'll never buy from you again. So if there's ever an opportunity to win your customers' affection, is to let them know exactly what to expect when they're going to get their products, especially when people are spending a lot of money and buying a lot of things. They want to make sure that they get it. Simple feedback and return process. I know some people, will debate the importance of returns and things like that. But I will say, as a consumer and what we see from our customers and looking at companies that are growing really fast and companies that are struggling, that customer feedback and customer retention is truly built of that process of how are we treating you? If we give you the wrong size or you buy the wrong size, it doesn't fit. Is it an easy, seamless process that I know, hey, if I ever buy from these people or this business again, that I know it's going to be an easy process and I don't have to worry about getting something that I'm not going to wear or use. So that goes a long way. And then thoughtful post-purchase communication. This is such a simple thing that I do not see many businesses do. But after somebody buys, like a thank you note or a, hey, how are you liking your product? Or, hey, I know you bought this product. Here's let's say you sell workout clothes. Hey, I saw you bought the yoga pants. Here's a 20-minute yoga video that one of our influencers did or something like that. It's those little things that, as a consumer, that makes you feel, oh, great. Wow, this brand is actually not just here to collect my money, send me a product and send me 20% off emails all the time, right? So again, thoughtfulness, making people feel important, it goes a long way, and it's really not used as often as it should be. So we're just going to share a couple of things that we've seen as consumers in our lives that we said, hey, this actually matches a lot of the things that we coach our customers here at Glew. So subscriptions, right? This is a really easy way to increase your purchase frequency and the lifetime value of your customer. So we, Athletic Greens here, they have a great subscription. I also like that they do this double subscription here too. It gives you, it's like a 3-tiered approach. So yeah, you can buy it one time and see if you like it. And then if you really like it, you're using it every day, right? You can double it. If you have, 2 people in your family, you got a spouse or a roommate or something like that, you say, hey, you got to try this, right? You guys can kind of split the cost there. So subscription's a great way to do it. Smart post-purchase emails. Again, this is like that. Hey, thank you so much. Duvin is a brand that I shop with quite a bit. They do a really good job of creating like a brand. They send a lot of cool content and things like that, but this is cool, right? They have like a GIF in there. They have like a text number if you want to give feedback. So it just seems like, hey, we actually really care that you bought from us. Again, little things like that in me has created a long-term customer. Another one is Banks Journal. This is another company that I shop from quite a bit, but high value rewards, right? For your VIP customers, giving a 60% off, right? Or having kind of like a blowout sale at the end of the year. I'm sure this converted really, really well, right? So people love that high value. And it can be honestly a way that you may have had consumers who have been sitting looking at your products and just saying, it's a little bit too much. And then at the end of the year, you drop that, you get that promotion, right? They start converting and then they get the product. They're like, hey, I really like this. And now they're okay spending more money in the future because they know it's a quality product, right? Especially when you're doing the things post-purchase, that's creating a brand for you. Referral program is another fantastic way. If you're not doing referrals, I would highly recommend starting that. One, it's a great way to incentivize somebody to buy, and then again, another purchase, right? Hey, if your friend buys, you get a 10% gift card and they get a 10% gift card or $10 gift card or whatever. If you're doing this post first purchase, that creates a second purchase and then a third purchase from their friend, right? And then they could do the same thing. It's like it creates a really powerful way to increase sales, right? And then just content, right? I think that these gift guides and these like, hey, this is what, people are wearing and this is what's cool and hip right now. Like, and it looks clean and the average, like the art, the creativeness, it like looks great. That content's really powerful. Like Huckberry is another e-commerce brand that does a really good job of creating like, hey, this is cool. You should buy it kind of thing. So gift guides, cool email content that looks clean and sleek can go a long, long way. So I think that was it as far as content goes. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so I can pull up a Glew account and show you just some quick things. I'm going to pull up just a quick run through of the Glew application. While I'm doing this, Katie, do you have anything to add to that? Any stores or things you've purchased you had a great experience with?
I was just going to ask you if that was your whole email feed in a slideshow.
Pretty much. Yeah. I pretty much shop from the same places. I'm a loyal consumer, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely a heavy repeat purchaser, but I haven't seen anything really strike my eye recently in my email inbox, but I'll have to keep an eye out now that the year is kind of coming to an end to see if I get targeted by any sort of post BFCM.
So what I was going to quickly show is just where in Glew you find. So again, this is a demo dummy store, so there's no data in here. But what we'll click is you can click edit filters. And I had mentioned like you can see web activity. So you can come in here and see your last click channel. You can select those. If it is Google, maybe it's performing really well, acquiring a lot of new customers, and segment those out. If you wanted to do by revenue, you can do revenue percentile, right? You do like the 90 percentile, which is the top 10% revenue drivers for you. You can do AOV as well. You can do percentile or just AOV equals. You can do, again, those tags, customer tags. If you want to tag those products, you can pull those in here. And again, we're saying like create a segment, yada, yada, yada. Make sure your date range is selected for you here. And then you just click segment details. And once you click that, this is where it's going to take you into those KPIs. So you'll see, again, I'm not thinking this is going to load much data, but you'll see, the customers in this segment, the products that those customers purchased as well. So it is interesting too. I didn't mention this in the initial piece, but once you segment out your first time buyers and you save that cohort, you can also see what they bought and see, oh, wow, this actually performed best this Black Friday. And maybe that's something to think about for next year, right? Okay, this product performed really well. We'll keep this historical product for next year, make sure it's well stocked, well advertised. Or maybe you have products that kind of advance each year. Maybe it's you say, hey, this performed really well. Let's redesign it and reship it next year. But yeah, here are some of the KPIs. You got your customers, your orders, your LTV, AOV, and margin, etc. But yeah, and then if you want to sync it, click sync settings. You can sync it over to Klaviyo. Just make sure it's enabled. And then every 24 hours, this list will update and get pushed right over to Klaviyo. So I always highly recommend people, using Glew as kind of the CRM segmenting of your customers and then letting Klaviyo actually send the emails. It's a really strong partnership. So
yeah, or MailChimp too.
MailChimp as well. But yeah, so that was all we had for today's webinar. Was there any questions from anyone about anything we went to? I do see you asked about the recording. Yep. So we'll send actually the slides and a recording at the end of this. So you'll get that in your inbox so you can refer back to it later. If you do have questions, you think of one, or you are trying to execute on these strategies we talked about today in Glew, and you're just kind of running into some issues, you can feel free to reach out to me and Katie or support@glew.io. And we can put you in touch with your account manager. But yeah, if I'll give maybe like 30 seconds if anybody has any more questions. If not, I hope this was helpful. I know as a consumer, this is one of my favorite times of year, and especially working at Glew, it's really cool to see all of our brands kind of kick butt with all those sales. So
kick butt.
Kick butt.
Awesome.
Well, cool. Awesome. If you think of those questions later, let us know. Thanks so much for joining. And I hope those sales keep flowing in.
Yeah. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye now.